Thank you all for joining me today. Today I have my mom, Gina, my dad, Ron, and my boyfriend, Brandon. Thank you for being here with me today. Today I want to tell you about a topic that is very important to me because a lot of the time I feel it is overlooked and forgotten about in society. The topic is domestic abuse. I want to start out by saying a quote that I once saw on Facebook. It said, "Never idolize someone else's relationship because you never know what's happening behind closed doors." I feel this quote is important because it's so incredibly true. You never do have any idea what someone else's life is, what's happening in someone else's life and what their relationship is like. I'm giving this presentation today because I want everybody to be more informed about the topic. I want people to know exactly what battered woman syndrome is and why women stay and who could be affected, and the answers might honestly surprise you. Women are considered emotional and irrational, which is why we seem to be hurt more. For us, it is normal to show our feelings, and for men, it isn't. But by showing our feelings, men think that we're irrational. Also, society seems to enforce the gender roles. Society makes men the head of the family, and up until the mid-1970s, spousal rape was even allowed. Not until 1993 was spousal rape illegal in all 50 states. The police and nobody could really do anything for you. And rarely would anybody support you if you did decide to up and leave. Now, the definition of battered woman syndrome is defined as the set of symptoms, injuries, and signs of mistreatment seen in a woman who has been repeatedly abused by a spouse, partner, or relative. The model was developed by Dr. Lenore E. Walker. She aimed to describe the mindset and emotional state of a battered woman. A battered woman is a woman who has experienced at least 2 complete battering cycles as described in dating and domestic violence. The cycle is when a person gets mad, starts the abuse, and then abuse gets full-blown, and then after things calm down, the person is very apologetic and says it'll never happen again. Now, you may be thinking, why doesn't the woman just leave? If she's being abused, either mentally or physically, why doesn't she just remove herself from the situation or the household? There are many reasons why women don't leave. Their children, they have no money, they have a fear of being hurt, there's no place to go, or the man just says it simply won't happen again. When researching the topic, I learned the story of Leslie Morgensteiner. She was a domestic abuse survivor, and now she is happily married because she was able to get away. She never thought she'd be a victim of abuse. She was 22, smart, a Harvard graduate, she had a great job, and everything was going for her. She finally thought she found her soulmate, but turns out he was a monster. She never thought she would end up in a relationship like this, but it just goes to show that it can happen to anyone, even a Harvard graduate like her. I'm going to post a video link when I post my link to my discussion, to my speech, and I want you to watch it because it really is very important. Another story I found was the story of Carolyn Scott and Arthur Lee. Carolyn Scott and Arthur Lee were married for a number of years, and they had 3 kids together. She was continually abused by her husband. One day he came home in a jealous rage and brought out the handcuffs, which was a sign that Carolyn was going to be severely beaten. Carolyn then overheard a phone call between Arthur and a friend when he said she'll be gone in 45 minutes. Carolyn had no money or support to leave, and she wasn't going to leave her young children with him. Instead, Carolyn grabbed Arthur's gun and shot him. But the sad thing was that she was sentenced to 20 years in prison because at the time Carolyn shot him, he wasn't abusing her. The problem is that the law doesn't protect battered women who threaten to leave, and the courts prosecute those who stay and kill in self-defense. Many end up killing themselves or the men who have been abusing them, and sometimes the women are even charged with neglect for having their children in an abusive environment like that, even though they had nowhere else to go or no choice. In fact, England actually changed their definition of domestic violence. They expanded their definition to encompass coercive control. The new definition recognized that patterns of behavior and separate instances of control can add up to abuse, including instances of intimidation, isolation, depriving victims of their financial independence or material possessions, and regulating their free will everyday behavior. In short, women cannot be robbed of their free will. Now I have a few startling statistics for you. 85% of domestic violence is man on woman. 4,000 women a year die at the hands of their abusers, 75% of them because they were trying to escape. 4,000 women a year die at the hands of their abusers, 75% of them because they were trying to escape. I think I already said that. 1/3 of American women will be abused by a partner at some point in their lives. And there are some ways to get help. There are shelters, hotlines, and small organizations, but sometimes these things just aren't enough. Thank you for listening to my presentation today, and I hope that you take away from this presentation that this is a major problem, and I hope that you guys will be more informed. Thank you.